With President Trump's tariffs hanging in the balance, Canadians are standing firm. What does this mean for your wallet? Let's uncover the real impact of these trade wars in Canada. The imposition of tariffs has long been a contentious issue in international trade, often leading to economic and political tensions between nations. President Donald Trump implemented tariffs on imports from several countries, including Canada, which led to retaliatory measures and a strain on bilateral relations. While President Trump paused tariffs on most products from Mexico and Canada, Canada has made it clear that it will maintain retaliatory tariffs until this pause is made permanent. This decision underscores the Canadian government's firm stance on ensuring fair trade practices and protecting its economy from potential instability caused by sudden policy changes. Trade between the United States and Canada is one of the most significant economic relationships in the world. With nearly $800 billion in annual trade, any disruption to this exchange can have widespread effects on industries, employment, and economic growth in both nations. CNN's John King explored Canadian perspectives on Trump's tariffs, providing insights into how businesses and government officials are responding to these trade policies. One of the key concerns among Canadians is the uncertainty created by the imposition and subsequent pausing of tariffs. Businesses require stability and predictability to plan for the future, invest in infrastructure, and sustain jobs. The temporary nature of Trump's pause on tariffs does little to alleviate concerns, as the threat of re-implementation remains a possibility. This uncertainty has led Canadian leaders to insist on a more permanent resolution before withdrawing their retaliatory tariffs. A prime example of how trade tensions affect businesses is AI Industries, located in Surrey, British Columbia. This company, which supports 100 jobs, is part of the broader Canada-US trade ecosystem. AI Industries relies on a steady supply of materials, much of which comes from the United States. If tariffs were to be reintroduced or become permanent, it could severely impact their cost structure, leading to price hikes, potential job losses, and even business closures. Companies like AI Industries are not alone in this struggle. Many Canadian manufacturers and exporters depend on raw materials and intermediate goods from the United States. The additional costs incurred from tariffs could lead to a ripple effect across multiple industries, including construction, automotive, and technology. As a result, business leaders and policymakers in Canada are actively lobbying for the removal of trade barriers to ensure economic stability and competitiveness in the global market. One of the most publicly discussed sectors impacted by potential tariffs is the alcohol industry. Daryl Lamb, a brand manager at Legacy Liquors, voiced concerns about how tariffs could affect the sale of popular American alcohol brands in Canada. If tariffs were imposed on American spirits and wines, it could lead to increased prices, making these products less attractive to Canadian consumers. Imported alcohol brands, especially those from the US, have a significant presence in the Canadian market. Many bars, restaurants, and liquor stores stock these products to meet consumer demand. However, increased prices due to tariffs could push consumers toward Canadian or European alternatives, ultimately hurting American alcohol exporters. The potential loss of market share for American alcohol brands in Canada could also have implications for the U.S. beverage industry. Smaller distilleries and wineries that rely on Canadian buyers may experience decreased sales, leading to job losses and revenue declines. This interdependence highlights the broader consequences of trade restrictions, where protectionist policies can inadvertently harm the very industries they seek to protect. Beyond the economic impact, Trump's tariffs have also sparked strong political reactions in Canada. The Premier of British Columbia has threatened to ban sales of alcohol from U.S. states that supported Trump if tariffs were imposed. This bold statement reflects the growing frustration among Canadian officials and businesses who see these trade policies as unfair and detrimental to economic stability. The threat of banning U.S. alcohol serves as a symbolic act of defiance, demonstrating Canada's willingness to take firm measures in response to protectionist policies. Such actions could escalate trade tensions further, potentially leading to additional retaliatory measures on both sides. However, they also serve as a warning to U.S. lawmakers that Canada will not passively accept trade policies that threaten its economy. The imposition of tariffs and retaliatory measures can lead to prolonged trade wars, which often result in economic downturns and reduced global trade. The uncertainty surrounding U.S.-Canada trade relations could discourage investment and expansion for businesses in both countries. Companies may hesitate to enter long-term agreements or make capital investments if they fear abrupt changes in trade policy. Furthermore, consumers on both sides of the border may bear the brunt of these trade disputes. Increased prices on goods due to tariffs can lead to inflation, reducing purchasing power and overall economic growth. The situation underscores the need for stable and mutually beneficial trade policies that promote economic collaboration rather than competition through restrictive measures. To mitigate the adverse effects of tariffs and maintain strong economic ties, both Canada and the United States must work toward a sustainable resolution. The key to achieving this is through diplomatic negotiations that emphasize long-term economic stability and mutual benefits. A permanent removal of tariffs would not only restore confidence in the trade relationship, but also pave the way for greater economic cooperation. Additionally, businesses and industry leaders must continue advocating for fair trade policies that allow for seamless cross-border transactions. Governments should engage in transparent discussions with stakeholders to assess the real-world impact of tariffs and ensure that trade policies align with economic growth objectives. Trump's tariffs and the subsequent Canadian response highlight the complexities of international trade and the interconnectedness of global economies. While the temporary pause on tariffs has provided some relief, the uncertainty surrounding their future remains a concern. Canadian businesses, government officials, and consumers continue to push for a permanent resolution to safeguard economic stability. The case studies of AI industries and the alcohol industry illustrate the tangible effects of tariffs on businesses and trade relationships. Political reactions, such as the proposed ban on U.S. alcohol sales in British Columbia, further underscore the depth of Canadian opposition to these trade policies. Moving forward, fostering a cooperative trade environment will require ongoing negotiations, fair trade agreements, and a commitment to long-term economic partnerships. Only through these efforts can both Canada and the United States ensure a prosperous and stable trade relationship for years to come.